Hey, all you podcast listeners, you can find Slice of the Paranormal everywhere podcasts are found, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the podcast. This is Slice of the Paranormal. I'm Ryan. This is my friend Christy.
Hey.
This is my guy Steve. And together we formed Voltron. Well, Slice of the Paranormal.
Can I be the sword?
Sword.
The sword?
No, that's not how Voltron works. I don't think you watched Voltron.
I did not.
I'd be the Schwartz.
That's not, see, we're off. All right, we're already on the wrong track here.
Way to start off the show, guys.
This is a podcast where we talk about paranormal activity, historical mysteries, haunted histories,
ghosts, goblins, ghouls,
Indian
wendigos,
legends, drownings.
Indian legends.
all kinds of some drownings today. Steve.
Ladies
We
in
got
the
some
lake.
drownings today. You know, so
So what we do is we go to these places, we investigate them as much as we can. Steve will tell you here in a minute where we went for this one, but we always check them out. And
he tells us just a little bit of the lore that's going on in the area. Kind of lets us get our own feelings about what we think, you know, what's going
gather
on
our own
in
information.
there. Yeah, gather our own information. He definitely keeps stuff from us. And then
We investigate.
during the show, he gives us the other slice that he didn't give us when we were there.
all the other slices that he didn't give
Hence
us.
the name Slice
yeah,
of
so
the
hopefully,
Paranormal.
you know, your guys' reactions by doing it this way, you know, our viewers get an honest take on how you view your experience
Right.
of these sites.
I hope so. For me, it's cool because I get to form my own opinions. I get to go there and have my own experience, and then it's crazy because then you come back here and you learn more than what you even thought, and that's always fun. So
And does it kind of make you want to go back to some of these locations
Yeah.
after you
Yeah.
know more?
for sure,
You know.
especially Sleepy Hollow's one for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow, we got to go back.
A
For
couple of them,
sure.
but-
So this episode, we went to Eagles Mere.
Rosemary, Pennsylvania.
And
But we like to call it, Steve, what do we like to call it?
you guys call it Eagles Schmear.
That's right.
It's one word. It's Eagles Mere.
Eagles Mere. Well, it's two words. Mere is M-E-R-E.
Right.
Eagles Mere literally means the Eagles Lake.
Eagles Lake, but not possessive with a apostrophe S.
No apostrophe. In fact, my wife would be thrilled that there's no apostrophe because that really annoys the grammar Nazi in her when she sees
It's not like the Eagles Lake.
Misplaced
Like,
apostrophes.
the Eagles
Yeah.
don't own the lake.
Not one specific.
Right.
Mr. Eagle.
Mr. Eagle owns that lake.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Eagles Mere, sorry.
the town is essentially laid out as a resort town. So have you guys seen the movie Dirty Dancing? You know,
Of
we
course.
got the giant resort
Yes.
where rich people get together and play stupid games and dance. Well, that's pretty much what Eagles Mere was. It was a rich person's resort town.
Okay.
So when we got there,
Like what decade would this have been popular?
late 1800s, early 1900s.
so early on then.
So it's
yeah.
the town's erected in 1877.
Okay.
So it's not super early in America's history because when you're dealing with Pennsylvania, you have towns that are like 1772
Right.
is the town we're
Sure.
filming in.
Most of your Pennsylvania towns are much older. So that would lead me to the question: why did it get settled so much later?
Well, I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. And actually, the reason the town is kind of put on the map is because the one guy named George Lewis, who has a glassworks factory built up there, he actually heard about the site from Joseph Priestley Jr., who has a connection to this town
No
way.
kidding.
because
Full circle.
it comes around. Like he
Yeah.
met this guy, Joseph Priestley Jr., and he's like, hey, I got all this land I'm trying to sell in like Humming County. And through a series of events, this George Lewis guy finds out about Eagles Mere, which doesn't have a name by that point, but he knows that it's a beautiful area with lots of trees. It's got a lovely lake.
It's a higher elevation, isn't it?
Higher elevation. And supposedly there's a lot of lore that wraps around the lake.
Okay.
So when we get to Eagles Mere, I sent you a picture of you'll see the Eagles Mere clock.
Oh, you want the clock?
That's
boom.
like the first thing people are going to see, because Eagles Mere is one of those towns, like if you blink, you're going to totally miss the damn town.
Well, like you said, it was it's mostly trees. It's mostly elevation.
It's a town of trees.
It's hills and trees.
Hills and trees. So this lake that has an Indian legend to it. Supposedly, it was a dry canyon or crevice, which Native Americans believed was a gateway to hell.
Oh.
So
The crevice was?
The crevice was.
Most crevices are.
Now, a Native American chief named Stormy Torrance, he was known as a thoughtless show-off, decided to take his new bride down into the crevasse. And
Yeah, I like crevasse better.
as soon as he got down there, the skies broke open and it poured, filling the crevice up and made the lake. So,
So he like rode down there on horseback with his wife, or just walked down?
I'm not sure if he rode or walked.
Okay.
But according to this story, to this day, if it rains, you might see the ghost of the young bride trying to break through the surface of the water.
Oh,
of
I
the
like
lake.
that.
No, wait,
That's
now
good.
did they get killed when they were?
Oh yeah, they got killed.
Oh, okay.
So like they're at the bottom of
So
this.
like on their honeymoon, they
Well-
go to the bottom of this crevasse,
yeah,
and it rains on them, and they die.
they died.
Oh, man. How did I miss that?
Right? Well, he kind of went right past that a little
right.
bit.
So
I mean,
so
you have
tell
to
me
be
what-
dead to haunt a lake, right?
Yeah, so they both die. She haunts the lake.
Ah.
The bride's name, all I've heard is her name is Laurel Eyes.
Laurel Eyes.
Ives.
So the lake is the central feature
You know,
of Eagles
Sound like
Mere.
a song?
you're thinking of Burl Ives.
Thinking that she has laurel eyes.
So this guy, George Lewis, who hears about this,
Wasn't he
area.
a boxer?
George
Lewis.
Lewis.
There might be a George Lewis boxer, but this guy's a glassmaker.
Okay,
Glassmaker.
So
maybe he
was
has
the
a
one that
glass
met
jaw,
with
but not
Joey
a glass.
Priestley Jr.
So, yeah, he met Joseph Priestley Jr.
got the same.
Jeez, you kicked me, right?
So now, George Lewis meets Joseph Priestley Jr., talks about the lake and the 10,217 acres of land, and he settles near the lake in 1803.
Okay.
This is like 1 year prior to Dr. Joseph Priestley passing away here in Northumberland. So he makes a glassworks building.
What's the Glassworks building?
Well, when we go to Eagles Mere, I made you guys go into the Eagles Mere Museum.
Yep. I got a shirt.
He does.
Oh, nice.
He's wearing his Eagles Mere shirt.
It says, what's it say? Lake Eaglesmere Schmear.
So the reason I wanted you to go in there is because since he was the first business in that town, and he had a glass business, I was thinking, okay, their museum's got to have something to deal with the glassworks.
Right.
Business there. So I did give you a picture showing the glassworks display they have for George Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Now they would make glass there because of the sand in the lake, correct?
correct. On the north end of the lake was the sand.
Okay.
And on the south end of the lake, which is closer to where we were,
Mm-hmm.
that is where his glassworks factory was. So they
Okay.
would boat all the sand from the north end to the south.
Why wouldn't he just have his shop where the sand is?
Listen, I don't know. I don't know
kind
the
of-
ins and outs of glassworks.
Right.
And by Glassworks, you're not talking about windows. We're talking about like little like colored glass. It looks like in these pictures.
Yeah, in the pictures, it's showing a lot of green glass. So he's making
Necklaces.
all sorts of stuff out of the
Charms,
sand
yeah.
that's naturally there. So he has a natural resource of sand, and all he has to do is heat it up and get glass blowers to blow bottles or trinkets or whatever.
Okay.
So we were looking for this because he ends up ceasing his operations in like 1817, and only the lake house still exists, and it's now the last thing from the Lewis settlement that exists, and it's now the rear section of the Lewis S. Smith Cottage. So if you go there, there's the Lewis S. Smith Cottage. This is the back portion of the cottage. Now, the reason I bring up this glass blower, dude, is because it's in his... George Lewis, not the boxer. Is because in his desk was a diary, and the diary recounted a tale of another ghost lore.
Ooh.
Also about the lake.
Oh.
So
we got a haunted lake for sure.
It's definitely a haunted lake. I mean, it's a gate to hell.
Right.
It kills an Indian chief and his bride, who probably was forced against her will to go down to the bottom of this crevasse.
Something fishy.
Is now trying to break free from the lake.
Fishy.
So a young worker is working.
Is this the lake that I have right here?
Yeah, you have a picture of the lake.
It's just a big lake.
Just a giant lake. Although, if you are a member of the, I don't know if it's called a lake association, you can actually boat on the lake, fish on the lake. We're just commoners, so we're not allowed to do anything on the lake.
We got to get on the lake association.
Right?
You know, like that you have to pay dues yearly to go to this lake.
I heard this lake has really good water though, because of its like being fed in by the tributaries during the winter. Like something about its alkalinity is preferred.
It might be because it's up in its higher elevation. So, like, I'm assuming that the lake is fed by the local mountain ranges and the melting of snow.
Yeah, there's something pretty
cool.
special about it. Like that it's like a better ecosystem than most lakes have because of that type of thing.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
So, there's a guy. He's a young worker at the Lewis Glassworks, and his name was William Herndon. And he fell in love with a woman named Clara, who was a friend of Mrs. George Lewis's wife. So Clara was on a boat one day with friends. Right, I know. Surely you jest.
Mrs. Yeah, sorry.
She's on a boat on the lake, and the boat was actually just a normal boat that someone had added a sail to it, and the boat must have had a gust of wind. It capsizes. So William Herndon swims out, and he's saving people from this boat. He saves everyone.
Wow.
But his wife. His wife dies. She drowns. He's unable to save her.
We got two wives dying in this lake?
Oh, she's the second one, yeah. Uh-oh. So Claire drowns, and Herndon is so distraught, he would sit on a rock on the lake's edge, hoping her body might appear, because her body never came up from the lake after she drowned.
Oh.
So whether she got snagged on something or whatever. So he would sit on this rock at night, usually at midnight, just waiting to see her.
Oh.
That's
super sad.
That is very sad.
Midnight came. What is that upon the water? A soft, filmy light. It is a mist, he wrote in his diary. It takes the form of Clara and says, I am indeed your own Clara, but my earthly body is lost. I cannot come to you.
And he's writing this in his journal?
This is what William Herndon writes in his journal. But she says, but you can come to me.
Ew.
And she's in the lake.
So the ghost then vanishes.
She's like, come up and see me sometime.
Herndon goes to a friend of his.
See me sometime.
His friend's name is Charles Home, to come with him to what was then called Castle Rock. Now, today they refer to the rock that he sat on looking for Clara's ghost. It's now called Lover's Rock because he loved her, and that's the rock he sat on to see her.
I just saw Wicked, and I feel like you should be singing this a little bit. It's like, come with me to Lover's Rock.
Oh, yeah, like Frozen or something.
Little musical action. Sorry.
little musical. So this Charles guy goes with him to the rock, and while they're there, William Herndon sees his Clara on the water, and Charles sees her too.
Okay.
But before he could do anything, William Herndon jumps in the water, swims out to the center of the lake, and also drowns. So from this point, this Charles guy then adds into the diary of William Herndon. And the story is that he explains how William Herndon jumps into the lake and...
Because he was there to watch it.
And never comes back.
So William Herndon then, Charles, his friend, says that he took other people out to Lover's Rock. And if you go out
And
there...
push them.
And no, he's not pushing them. He didn't want William to jump in. Okay. But when he goes out to Lover's Rock, that they would see William Herndon and Clara gliding on the lake together, hand in hand.
That's sweet.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
So he's then with her.
I like that.
I think it's still kind of cruel that Claire's like, "Hey, I'm dead. Why don't
Come join me.
Come join me."
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's a little bit easier to become alive and then unalive than unalive and then alive. You know what I mean?
Easier to go one way and not the other.
Leave it to the girl to pick the girl's side, you know.
Well, what I was thinking is like,
She just want to be lonely.
maybe she did. Maybe she found like a little portal or like a something to go and and come with.
Oh, yeah.
come out here and I'll show you. Come
You don't
with
have
me.
to really die. Just got to be a ghost.
But you guys are forgetting, it's supposedly a gateway to hell.
See, there is some
there
kind
is
of
that.
gateway there.
You
And
know.
what
They
year
never found the
was
body,
this supposed
right?
to happen again?
Well, it happens between 1800 and 1817 because the
Oh,
glass.
so it's still early.
So it's early 1800s when this happens. They're all dead, but years later, I guess the diary is found in George Lewis's desk, and that's how Eaglesmere got the story of the ghost of the lake.
Wow.
So that's why when we went there, I was like, we got to go to the lake to see if we could see.
You ain't joking.
And
again, he doesn't tell us stuff, so he's just
No.
like, look around.
Look at this
I'm
stuff.
like, let's just go to the lake.
Meanwhile,
guys.
Christy's being called into the lake.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm
Clara.
just gonna take you to a portal to hell.
So was the town though like really small people back then?
No, like
Well, there was nothing at that point.
Well,
it wasn't even
I'm
settled
not
yet.
talking like a small amount of people. I'm talking about like the people were smaller
Oh, man.
no.
So I say
that's a
that
historical
because of the
fallacy.
shoes.
Well,
So in the glassworks that we looked at, right?
Yeah.
So these people would have to put these like wooden platforms on their shoes to walk on, so that their like feet wouldn't get all cut up on the glass, I guess.
well, I think,
But they were really small, and the picture even said, this goes to show that people were much smaller back in the 1800s.
yeah, but they
They
lie.
probably were.
People weren't that much
But they
smaller.
were tiny. I mean, these look like children's shoes.
I don't know. These
Well,
kids these
I'm
days are
saying
pretty
like
big.
if you have shoes for.
Are you saying I'm lying?
I'm saying that the
Mostly.
museum is lying. Museums lie all the time.
Oh.
You know, if you go to a museum, they'll say something stupid like, glass is not really a solid. It's in a constant state of
Right.
being a liquid.
It is.
Have you heard that? That's
a
why
true
you
story.
go to a house and the glass is wavy.
True.
Well, there's another logical reason for that. That glass is hand blown and it's flattened. It's uneven. So when they flatten blown glass to make panes in the 17 and 1800s, they will then cut this flattened glass. And when you go to set it in a window, they put the thicker part on the bottom because you'd be an idiot
Sure,
to
yeah.
use the smaller part.
Yeah.
So the glass is not a liquid state.
Oh no, it is. If you heat it, it'll melt.
Well, if you heat it, but if glass was truly a liquid state, there would be no Egyptian glass on the planet. It would have all melted by now. I have glass from the Roman period at my house. So
Yeah, fair enough, man.
glass is not a liquid state. It is, just a byproduct of how it was manufactured back then. So I've gone to Eaglesmere a number of times throughout the years. And one of the interesting things was I was up there with my first wife, and we're driving, and I saw...
First wife to the lake. Hey, I know the story about a lake. Let's
I know
go.
this gateway
A
to hell.
couple wives might have died up here, but no big deal.
Let's go for a
Wink,
swim,
wink.
honey.
Yeah, this is where a lot of wives go.
Notice he said first wife. Yeah.
You guys have met her.
I'm just teasing.
So we're driving, and I saw a white buck cross the road.
White deer. Was it?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I mean, it had a full set of antlers. It was a male deer. And I was amazed.
Is that a stag?
It would
Yeah.
be a stag, I think.
Is it
Like Harry
a stag?
Potter?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
A buck.
Harry Potter? Did
Maybe.
you see his Patronus?
Maybe it was my Patronus.
Maybe it's your Patronus.
So,
See if your Patronus is out.
when I was doing, I had the camera right next to me, and I never once grabbed the camera to take a picture because I was just so awestruck that I'm seeing this white deer. Mm-hmm. But while researching for this episode, I read that white deer have long been known to be in the woods around Eagles Mere.
Not albino, just white.
Just white. Albino would imply that they have the pink eyes.
Yeah, the red, pink eyes.
And it's a deficiency.
Somebody farted on their pillow.
Now, it's supposedly bad luck befalls anyone that would kill a white deer. So white deer are considered to be messengers from the other world.
So you can't kill white, or you're not supposed to kill.
You're not supposed to kill them.
So it's not like a trophy thing where people put them on there. Oh,
Most hunters will respect a white deer and not kill it.
Ask them.
I've heard that.
A white deer is for Native Americans, it's considered very sacred.
Wow.
And very much bad luck for a hunter. So
you're just driving along and you see this thing.
And I saw that thing, and I didn't realize that they were known to inhabit the woods at Eagles Mere. So I just thought that was interesting. And the Lenape, which is the Indian tribe that's around this area, they have stories and prophecies associated with the white deer. One story says when two white deer are seen together, it means the indigenous peoples of the Dawnland will unite and lead the world.
The what land?
Dawnland.
What's that
I'm
mean?
assuming that's the afterlife in the Lenape culture.
Interesting.
So,
But couldn't these white deer be there? I mean, just genetics. Like if they just stay in the area.
Oh, if you want to be scientific about it, yeah.
Well, yeah, and if no one's killing them to eat, then obviously
True.
they're
I'm
just gonna
assuming that
reproduce.
there's a genetic
I'm
mutation.
not saying they're not special and amazing. Like that is cool.
No,
but I'm
it's
just
very
saying.
cool. Yeah, I would
you know,
assume that the
might not be
Eagles
paranormal.
Mere
Mystifying it.
Right.
does probably have a small group of DNA descendant deer from some deer that had this genetic mutation.
Right.
And that's why if you want to see a white deer naturally in the wild, go to Eagles Mere and check it out.
It is cool that they'd even stay there, though. You know what I mean? Because deer travel, so.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Now, we couldn't go to Celestia without me pointing out the one road sign on the road.
Celestia. Is that where the white deer are?
The Celestia is the town. It's a ghost town near Eagles Mere.
Okay.
Now, it's located 1.5 miles west of LaPorte.
But we couldn't go there.
Well, we could, but there's really just foundation stones. There's nothing that
Kind of
really
like what we saw in
exists.
Centralia.
Less than Centralia. So Celestia is a religious community. It was founded in the 1880s or 1850s by millennialist. These
Millennials.
guys, yeah,
Millennials? Were they around back then?
They're the worst.
They are the worst.
So in
I love me some millennials.
right. So in the 1860s, a guy named Peter Armstrong, he's the community's founder. He deeds the land to God because he's not paying his taxes.
Oh.
So he's like, well, I'm going to deed the land to God, you know.
Wait, how
God don't
does
have
he
to
have
pay.
this land?
He bought it. He bought the
this
land for the
land
religious
from-
community.
But can't pay for it. Taxes.
He bought it from the government, or
Yeah.
Okay.
He buys the land legally,
with the
but
intention of creating a spiritual community.
to create a spiritual community.
Okay.
So he buys this, but then he deeds it to God.
He's like, here, God, this land is yours.
So
This land is your land.
the downside is the local government's like, well, God's not paying his taxes. So they repossess the town from God, and
That's got to be a first.
the Armstrong family actually repurchases the land at a tax sale in the 1870s.
For cheaper now.
And but by that time, Peter Armstrong dies in like 1887, and the community has mostly been abandoned. Now, I said millennialist, so I want to explain what that is. Yeah. Who were the millennialists? William Miller calculated that Christ would return to Earth by May 21st, 1844.
He's a millennialist.
Ooh.
He's a millennialist.
He's a little
What was the
off.
year?
Here's
What was
the
the
down-
year?
1844. Now, this is prior to the town of Celestia being founded. So he then changes it to October 22nd, 1844.
Right.
And it becomes known as the Great Disappointment. Because obviously, since we're all here, you know, the world did not end.
I always thought I was the great disappointment. But
Yeah,
I'm glad
no.
to know
Can
someone
we
else.
backtrack a little bit? Did people actually move into this town?
Oh, yeah.
How many people were living there?
In
There
Celestia?
were hundreds of people living there.
So I watched a little something about Eagles Mirror and Celestia last night, and it said that they had plans for like an amphitheater for like 144,000 people.
Well,
They had
trying
big
to attract
plans.
people in.
Yeah.
But they didn't get that large. In fact, another thing that kills the town is the Civil War.
Okay.
So when the Civil War happens in 1860s, Abraham Lincoln does something unheard of. He creates a draft where they're drafting people into the war. Well, the town of Celestia is like, we're, pacifist.
We're of God here.
We're of God.
Yeah.
We're not of the world. We don't want to fight the war.
Please.
So they write a letter to Abraham Lincoln. They're like, can you absolve the town of being part of the draft? And Abraham Lincoln says yes. He agrees to that.
Just got to ask sometimes.
Wow, yeah.
You just got to ask. So once Abraham Lincoln says the town is absolved from the draft, if you were a draft dodger in the
You're going to
1860s,
You're moving to Celestia.
you're moving to Celestia.
So booming.
Now the town isn't really booming though.
No.
Because the religious community functions on the sole fact that all the religious members work to benefit the town.
Oh.
So if you, Ryan, move into Celestia and you have no plan on working the fields,
True story.
you just don't want to be in war, you're not actually helping the town. You're just a heathen moving in, which is what I would have been too, So
You can't do that,
essentially, the town gets all these people moving in, and they're not helping the town at all. So it becomes a draft dodger haven.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The town was overloaded by secular people by 1872. So the religious community gets so fed up, they move to Glen Sharon, which is 1 mile south of Sonestown.
So near there, I'm guessing.
And if you go up there, you can actually, if you type in Celestia, PA, you can actually download a walking tour brochure and walk and see the old foundation.
It's funny you say that because I Google searched Celestia and it said, I do not know what you are talking about.
Well, a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about.
Google does not recognize.
Now, the town is currently privately owned. So if you go there, they say, be respectful of the property, don't take any trash, leave anything there. So,
well, I can dig that. That's like common decency rules.
it is common decency rules, but, not everyone follows that. But if you want to see a town deeded to God that God didn't pay his bills.
Yeah.
So the government took it back from God.
Yeah, the government took it back from God, which is
repoed.
Kind of hilarious that God, reneged on
Even
his
God's not immune from taxes.
He's not. So that's kind of like the weird stories.
What year did that all end, pretty much?
It seems like around the late 1800s, the town's pretty much going
Civil
downhill.
War.
So 1872.
Draft dodgers are going there.
And
the town's going to shit, pretty much.
Yeah, and once the...
so the religious people just leave again.
They just leave in 1872, and then after they
leave all those scallywags there.
All the secular people that didn't have anything to do with the religious community...
Yeah.
After 1865, when the war ends, they have no reason to be there and hide in Celestia.
There's no industry. There's no
people are lazy sometimes.
jobs.
There's like, I don't really want to move.
So essentially, the town just dies, and it dies a slow, sputtering death.
Celestia there was nothing there.
There's nothing. I mean, if you go there, you might see some foundation stones, some rocks that were once part of a wall.
Okay.
Maybe a well or two.
I mean, Eaglesmere, there wasn't much there. That was half a block of downtown.
Yeah, like I said, if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah.
So, but
it had that clock.
It did have that clock.
The clock is beautiful. But
is that the building that had that weather vane in it? Remember that cool weather vane?
It is the building that had the weather vane. They had
it came down into the ceiling into
the
lobby.
An electric weather vane that had
it would light up
eight light bulbs on it. So whichever direction the wind was coming from, the corresponding light bulb would illuminate. So while you were in the first floor, you could tell, it's a northeast wind today.
Yeah, that was
you didn't
really
have to go outside
neat.
to see what the weather vane was saying. That's pretty cool.
So you didn't have to leave
Didn't
the
they
house.
say there's only a few of those that are left in the country? And they have
most of them do not work, they said.
Yeah.
That they kind of unhooked the wiring because they're all very old wiring.
Right.
So it's probably safer to not have it hooked up.
And the name Mere, that seems like an old term too. Is that a term for a town?
Eagles Mere, it literally means Eagles Lake.
Lake. So Mere means lake.
Mere means lake.
Okay.
If it's Eagles Schmear, is it Lover's Schrock?
It's Eagles poop.
Eagles
Schmear.
I mean, maybe that's...
Put a schmear of cream cheese
maybe
on
that was Charles's reaction to seeing his friend jump out into the lake and drown to be with his dead wife.
Schmear.
Maybe that's how we could say they
schmear?
got the name Eagle Schmear. You know?
Hey, you never know.
You know, because if I was Charles, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
I might have smeared my pants.
I just smeared myself. in Eagles Lake here, which now I'm calling Eagle Schmear.
Eagle Schmear Lake. Well, we knew we were going to have a hard time finding pizza, right?
We did, because we're like in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Nowhere. I mean, ghost town. There's not going to be pizza in a ghost town.
Correct.
So what do we do?
So we found a place called The Barn.
The Barn.
And we were told by online that they had pizza rolls.
Right.
We
Not real actual pizza, but pizza rolls.
So we were going to make that concession. We were like, hey,
right.
it's pizza something.
Right.
It's close. They have pizza-ish.
Pizza-ish.
So we drive to this place, and I sent you a picture
Yeah.
because, like, when we rolled up on this place, we were just like, oh no. Like, you could almost hear the banjos in your heart.
Well, and from the online menu, it almost seemed like it was almost a little, not upscale, but a little fancier than like a dive bar. You know what I mean?
Yes, but there was
by the menu.
a lot of neon.
Yeah.
Good bit of neon, a lot. It is what it is. You know, we were in the middle of nowhere, so it was kind of expected. And we're from Pennsylvania. We've seen worse.
We have.
So expectations were low.
They were. So we walk in, you know, trepidatiously, and we order, we find out they don't have pizza rolls.
Right.
Bogus.
So we order their pizza.
They had pizza, and they were like, "Oh, well, no pizza rolls, but they have pizza." So win-win, right?
Exactly. Or so we thought.
Or so we thought.
So I refer to the pizza, my way is saying it was kind of like drywall with ketchup.
Wasn't great.
It wasn't good. So while we're sitting there...
But they had drinks, correct?
They did have drinks. So we
that
liked their
helps.
drinks.
That helps.
So we're sitting there, and after we ate the pizza, I looked at Ryan. I'm like, so Ryan, are we gonna review the pizza?
Because I always write them down. I ask everybody because I want to keep it in the moment, get your real-time reactions. I want to get our reviews pretty quick.
And what was your answer to me then?
I said we better wait till we get outside.
Let's wait till we get in the parking lot,
Now,
guys.
you know it's bad when we're like, we're not even going to review it in the place.
Right.
Not a good start.
That's not.
I don't know. I don't think I
And
might
again,
not have
Steve's
been as
usually-
bad as you guys on that one.
Steve's usually the one that's like, it's not that bad.
Right.
And Steve doesn't like it. That's a bad sign.
Right.
Yeah, if I don't like pizza.
So,
But once again,
and this just
the
goes
people
to-
were super nice, though. Again, like everyone.
Oh yeah, the
like,
people there were nice.
The waitress was amazing. Everyone was.
I don't think any of us
so
had
friendly.
any problems with the flavor of our drinks.
Oh,
I'm
our
going to blow
drinks
your
were
mind,
great.
Steve. You gave it a 3.25. 3.25 out of 5.
See, I'm
You
nicer
are
than
so
most
not
people.
picky about pizza. You're
Yeah.
like, it's good.
I'm a gas station pizza guy, really, at heart.
3.25 out of 5. So if you double that at 10, that's a 6.5. It's a decent score.
It's not horrible.
Yeah.
You said super thin crust. No, I said super. You said super thin crust, but couldn't find anything I really liked about it. So thin crust, even the thin crust which you're mentioning, you're not a fan. Fine amount, I like that. Fine amount of cheese and sauce. That's not even
It's
like,
all right.
it's not good. It's not bad. It's fine.
It's fine.
But yet I still gave him a 3.25. So all the pizza shops out there, you have me to thank for helping
Continue.
boost
Bringing
your
that-
numbers.
Yeah, the curve. Bringing the
True
curve
story.
up.
I'm bringing up the curve. I'm helping you on the bell curve here.
You did say you're ghosting this place, though.
I will not go back.
You wouldn't go back
Not
for the
pizza.
ambiance?
For the ambiance, for the waitresses and all that, yeah.
Hey, is that the place that had the cigarette machine?
No.
That's
No,
not-
no.
Okay. That was somewhere else.
But they
mean, they
did have the
could've.
weird room when you first walk in the door. There's like an empty room where no one's sitting.
Oh, yeah.
With all the tables, and then we
yeah.
had to go into another room where the bar
The bar
was,
part.
That's right.
which was full of like regular patrons that didn't talk to us at
They
all.
did not really want us there, you could tell.
We were the oddballs.
Yeah.
I didn't seem to notice that, guys. I don't know. Maybe I was just
Maybe
oblivious.
that's just a guy thing we're aware of more
Yeah,
often.
no. I didn't notice
Girls
that.
are more accepted than guys.
That's true. You probably weren't getting the eye like we were.
Like, hey, there's a fresh one. They don't know we're weird.
Leave the girl, but you guys can go. Miss Christie gave it a 2.75 out of 5. That seems more. Yeah.
That's about right.
I liked the sauce. It was a little chunkier and reminded me more of a homemade sauce. The bits of crust that were crunchy but not tough went well with the sauce. Mildly, it was very specific.
Very specific.
Mildly greasy. The bits of crust that were crunchy but not tough went well with the sauce. So if they weren't crunchy or if
If it was crunchy,
tough,
but not tough. So like, just, yeah, crunch and not be too chewy.
mildly greasy. So that's not nothing's good on that. That's all
Well,
over
I
the
like
board.
the sauce apparently, a little bit.
Sauce, more like a homemade sauce.
Yeah.
So maybe it was homemade.
Now, I mean,
What do you think, Ryan? Oh, sorry.
We got.
What I do want to say is this is also one of the only pizza places that we did not put a sticker outside.
We did not.
We did
Correct.
not.
We did not. Yeah.
We're
sticker
not.
bomb
We
this
didn't put our
place.
sticker as a seal of approval when we went there.
I didn't know if there was a place to even put
There
one
might
there.
not have been one.
Yeah.
We weren't
I
looking.
don't think I would have looked.
No. What'd you think of it, Ryan?
Pretty low rating for me. I gave it a 1.75 out of 5. So that is,
That might have been the lowest ever.
I don't know, maybe. I got to start writing those out. I got to like make a chart.
We need a spreadsheet.
I do need a spreadsheet. I got to stick someone on that. I can't be doing spreadsheets.
Yeah. I know a guy.
175. 175 out of 5. So again, if you're doing a Dave Portnoy rules and
Yeah.
out of 10, that would be a 3.5. That is unacceptable pizza. That's
Yeah.
anything below a 5.
Yeah,
come
that's
on.
bad.
I was very hopeful for this pizza upon viewing it, is what I wrote, because it looked good. It had like that brown on it, had like a little bit of, I was like, okay, first bite, tasted okay. I really liked the sauce, same as Christy. After that, the cheese all slid my way, and the crust was not anything that made me want to keep eating it. I felt like eating one full piece of this was a lot and kind of hard to get through. As good as the cheese tasted, I'm a sucker for cheese. You guys know me. I am not a fan, is what this says. Ghosting faux show.
Now, what our viewers don't realize is when we go on our trips, we hit up like what 3 pizza shops in
Depends
like
on
a
how
day.
many, wherever we go to a place,
And
we
then
hit up a pizza place.
At the end of the day, we end up with multiple pizzas that are missing 3 slices.
True story.
So we do what is like the pizza roulette. You know, everyone grabs a pizza.
This is true.
That's true.
At the end of the day.
And we each get to take home a pizza. I want you guys to know that I lost pizza roulette.
Ooh, on
Did
this
you
And
get
I
his
got the
pizza?
barn.
You got the barn pizza.
I got
roulette.
the barn pizza.
Oh, Steve, that's
I
funny.
thought maybe.
So
Oh my god, I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry.
I forgot
Did
to
it get
tell you
eaten?
guys that I lost that time.
Did you guys eat it? Did you try it?
Listen,
You know he ate it.
It's 3.25
You
is what
know
I
he
gave
ate
it.
the
You know he
pizza.
did.
Of course I ate it.
Plus
It's-
reheating it's
Did Brooke
always
try
better.
it?
No,
She didn't try it.
She doesn't trust any pizza that she's like, that's been sitting in the car for 3 hours.
That's how it gets
And
good.
You're gonna
3
eat
hours,
that?
that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I say. But she's like, she won't touch pizza that's been sitting in a car to the elements.
All right.
She
It
thinks,
was in a box.
yeah, but
And it was colder out.
most women's standards of
Ish.
pizza are way bigger, harsher than men.
What are you
Oh,
saying?
Christy,
Steve.
she's with us.
Yeah, but you're part of the pizza crew, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
You
exempt.
know we're not doing
Look,
anything
I'll
weird
eat
with the pizza.
food. If it's been in a car and it's cooler out overnight, I'll eat the next
And that
day.
was a cooler day. It wasn't warm.
Yeah, I'm not too precious about that
I
type
will
of
eat
thing.
anything pretty much. I'm bad. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, it'd be like, oh, the pizza was sitting out since last night at the party. Oh, I'll eat it. It's
What do you mean this chicken's been sitting out since last night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe like egg salad. I wouldn't eat after like 3 hours in a
All
car.
right. You get into mayonnaise. Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
Yeah, but pizza, sure.
Meat. I do it.
Yeah, it's pretty safe stuff.
Yeah,
Mayonnaise is what the gross part. I saw a shot the other day. I don't know what it was called. It was called Smoker's Cough. And it was like Jaeger and a squirt of mayonnaise.
Oh,
that sounds disgusting.
I don't even want
Why
to
would
think
you
about
want to do that?
The guy Ralph, just like looking at it, like, why would you drink
Why?
that?
That
I'm glad that I grossed everyone out real quick just by giving you a
like
visual.
a shot you get someone that you don't like.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I'm getting you this.
Yep. Oh, you're getting the smoker's cough.
You're getting the smoker's cough.
Cool.
You gotta try it.
And mayonnaise.
21st birthday.
That sounds about like the most disgusting
Come on,
thing ever.
you're acting like you've never been at a party and you haven't said something like, "This is horrible. You got to try it."
Yeah.
Like anyone that said that.
Oh, this smells so bad. Smell it.
Smell it. This candle's horrible. Smell it.
The shot. Yeah. Jägermeister and a dollop of mayonnaise. Dollop
Gross.
I would not eat it. So.
Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for joining us and listening to us just shoot the shit and talk about Eaglesmere and Celestia and pizza. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, listening to us, watching us. It really means a lot.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that happy horse shit. Please, please, please.
Yeah, it really means a lot. And Steve, you have anything else you want to say?
No, just keep an eye out for the damn white deer. And if you're there, take a picture, unlike me.
Yeah, you can
take a
email
picture.
us, slice of the paranormal at gmail.com.
Yep. Hit us up.
And join us next time you crave a slice of the paranormal.
Thanks so much.
Peace.
Later.
This podcast was produced by Stone State Entertainment.